The Minecraft movie had so many hilarious scenes that one video just wasn't enough. We had to make a sequel. Think you can remember these scenes without bursting out laughing? Everyone knows the movie took a big risk by casting real actors instead of using CGI models, since Warner's idea was to make a live-action movie, not an animated one. Whether you like that choice or not, you have to admit they made the most of it, especially with how they played around with the fact that humans aren't square. That gave us one of the funniest moments when Steve heads into the Nether and meets the witch Malgosha, who immediately asks him, "Why are you so round?" And she's not even being mean about it, it's just that Steve really is super round. He's probably the least blocky being in the entire Minecraft universe. Anyone from a world made entirely of cubes has every right to be completely confused when they see him. But hold on, in Minecraft everything's square. Even the orb of dominance isn't really an orb, it's a cube. So how does the witch even know what round means? That only makes the moment funnier, and she's just the first of the 13 funniest scenes in the Minecraft movie we'll be breaking down in this video. So go ahead and jump in, it's time for another episode of Cinewave. If you're wondering how Steve managed to survive for so many years in a place like Minecraft, the most likely answer is he knows when to fight and when to try something totally unexpected. Like when Henry breaks into the Woodland Mansion to steal the Earth Crystal, and Jack Black's character decides he and Garrett will take care of distracting the bad guys who live there. But if you think they distract them by fighting, nope. Instead, they start rapping at the villains while wearing giant mushroom hats just to get more attention. Steve even jumps in with a saxophone, though the music is absolutely terrible. This was definitely not Steve and Garrett's best musical performance. The song they do at the end of the movie is way better, but here, at least they managed to distract the enemies and make us laugh. Now for a moment where Steve really goes all out. During the final battle of the movie, when he and Malgosha face off in what's supposed to be an epic showdown. Well, epic for a Minecraft movie, considering he's wearing diamond armor, which looks awesome in the game, but in live action, it's super blocky and totally ridiculous. Like, how is anyone supposed to move in that thing? The worst part is, he starts the fight by jumping at her and immediately faceplants in the most pathetic way possible. Honestly, it's impressive he didn't break his nose or knock out a tooth with that fall, and somehow he still had enough energy to dodge Malgosha's next attack and get back on his feet. If it were me, I'd have been so dizzy I'd be barbecue on her staff in 2 seconds. There's another scene with Malgosha that's also hilarious, even though the reason it's funny is so dark it kinda makes you feel bad for laughing. We're talking about the scene where a baby piglin draws a picture and shows it to Malgosha. She pretends to care about what he drew, just so she can stab him and turn him into a pork chop. It's honestly a sad moment, but it happens so suddenly that you're totally caught off guard. And yeah, it's hard not to nervously laugh when you realize the poor thing just got turned into a pork chop right after dying, just like what happens to pigs in the game. Do you like to dance? If you do, great, that means you've got something in common with Steve. And he's not the only Minecraft character who loves to bust a move. The animals love it too. So much so that there's this absolutely hilarious scene where Steve is dancing along with a bunch of pandas, and even a cow. And let me tell you, they've all got serious rhythm. And if that scene got you laughing, drop a hashtag dance down in the comments. We couldn't keep talking about funny scenes without mentioning one of the most viral ones online. The moment when Steve introduces his fried chicken chop and suddenly starts singing the store's theme song, completely out of nowhere. There are so many reasons to laugh that it's hard to tell what's funnier, the lyrics themselves or the fact that it comes so out of left field it makes you wonder if this movie was secretly a musical all along. Let's just hope you're not laughing because a chicken got thrown into lava right before Steve started singing. That would be seriously dark. And if that's the case, well, we might need to call in some doctors to check on you. If you've seen the first video about the funniest scenes or just watched the movie, then you know that Garrett, played by Jason Momoa, loves to act like he's this big tough guy, even though he's way more cowardly and clueless than anyone else. And if you didn't catch on right away, you definitely saw it when he and the rest of the main characters had to survive their first night in the overworld. Garrett looked ready to throw hands with any monster that came his way, until an arrow almost hit him, and he let out the most high-pitched, over-the-top scream ever before taking off running. Being scared is one thing, but pretending to be brave only to immediately lose it when danger shows up? That's just embarrassing. While he's running from monsters, our wannabe tough guy bumps into a creeper, one of the most annoying mobs in the game. Every Minecraft player watching that scene already knew this was about to go south. And it did. Garrett freaks out and punches the creeper, and as expected, the creeper does the only thing those miserable little guys know how to do. It explodes. It's hilarious watching Garrett get blasted across the screen, all beaten up. Honestly, he was super lucky because a creeper blowing up that close usually means you're done for. And the best part? That was just the first of many beatdowns he takes in this movie. I swear, it feels like someone on the writing team doesn't like Jason Momoa and just wanted to see his character get wrecked over and over again. Speaking of creepers, that wasn't the only time one showed up in the movie. There's another hilarious moment involving them when Steve is leading Garrett and Henry into a cave he's already explored and customized, and then the Great Hog suddenly shows up and starts chasing them. As they're escaping, they hop into a minecart, only to realize it's smack in the middle of a creeper farm built by Steve himself. Which begs the question, why would anyone need that many creepers? And who in their right mind would place their only escape route right there? It's hard not to laugh in this scene, even if it's just out of nervous tension from watching things spiral out of control. Henry and Natalie are going through a pretty rough patch in life. They've lost their parents and had to move to a new town. Henry's super creative and actually likes the overworld, but Natalie is desperate to get out of there and starts talking as if her brother's creativity is some kind of flaw, not realizing that Henry hears the whole conversation and ends up pretty upset. But hey, this is a video about funny stuff, so before we start getting all emotional about family drama, let's talk about the funny part. Of course, Garrett also overhears the conversation, it's always him, isn't it, and turns to Natalie and says, "I'm more of a brother to Henry than you'll ever be," which is absolutely nuts considering he literally just met the kid earlier that day. Then Garrett tries to kick open Steve's hideout door and ends up hurting his foot in the dumbest way possible. Major fail, Garrett. Major fail. If you don't want to fail like Garrett, then hit that subscribe button. That way you'll always catch our daily videos as soon as they drop. Back to Garrett's long list of dumb decisions, this one is something just about every Minecraft player has experienced. While Jason Momoa's character is checking out Steve's weapon stash, he finds an ender pearl. Steve himself explains that whoever throws the pearl gets teleported to wherever it lands, but for some reason, Garrett thinks it's just a great idea not to believe the guy who's lived in that world for years and just throws the pearl far away, getting instantly teleported, exactly like Steve said would happen. And he even lets out another silly little scream like it wasn't totally obvious that was going to happen. And to top it off, that was Steve's last ender pearl. This guy, seriously, what a character. Henry might be one of the unluckiest kids to ever exist. Imagine showing up for your first day of school and somehow causing an explosion. That's exactly what happened to the poor kid. And of course he ended up in the principal's office. The vice principal said a guardian had to come pick him up, but Henry didn't want to call Natalie. Mostly because he didn't want his sister to find out what had happened, especially since the place that blew up was the factory where she had just started working. So that's when the kid has the brilliant idea to call Garrett and ask him to pretend to be his uncle. What's really funny is that the big guy refuses at first, but immediately changes his mind the moment Henry offers to pay him for it. But honestly, it's kind of hard to blame Garrett when you remember his introduction scene, which is also super funny. Right after the narrator tells us this guy used to be the man back in his glory days, a woman walks into Garrett's video game store and he just assumes she's there for his autograph. But she just hands him a piece of paper and leaves. And that paper? It's an eviction notice. Garrett hasn't been paying the bills, and soon he's gonna get kicked out of his own store. We've left 2 awesome videos up on your screen. If you want to keep the fun going, just click on one of them. Thanks for watching. See you next time!